what I want to finally talk about with clothing probably for today is I thought about some other things to the massage clothing that could be added. And that is heaters, which can also help with blood circulation problems. And it can also, beyond heaters, can help in fancy clothes. It can also help with anxiety or people with body temperature regulation issues. They're pretty safe and low powered. You would need to figure out a power supply, and we can talk all about those. So that would be some weight. It would be more power to keep heating up a person than the other ones. The other ones, so maybe a pound or so power supply. Unfortunately, then you can't provide cooling because cooling is very energy intensive compared to heating stuff up, because you have to work against kind of Mother Nature in this case very much. Besides that, you could also provide small electric shocks. With small electric shocks, some people might enjoy the tingly sensation and stuff, but electric shocks have been known to, in small doses, help a little bit with cramps and muscle pains and certain other pains, a little bit. But a little bit is something, and every little bit can help a person. The other thing you could do is color changing materials. Now, they've already made some color changing materials, and they can work by a variety of ways. One is that you put electricity in the actual chemical compounds and dyes chains so that it can change chemically, and they change what they absorb. Another way is that light is absorbed by electrons jumping up a state from a lower state to a higher state. So sometimes you can put electricity in something and it changes what state it jumps up from because electricity is already exciting it a little bit or putting a different electron in a different place. Another thing you can do that is oftentimes more easy to design and less energy intensive, but it's hard to, but it's more of a nanoscale manufacturing and chemical problem, is what the thing they have in e-inks in a bunch of devices, if you're familiar with them, where you have two different colored dyes, and one of them is attracted to a certain charge of electricity, one of them isn't, and you put electric charge on it, and the black ink either goes to positive or to negative, and the white ink to vice versa, whatever color, and that changes the overall color, or they go on the outside of the electric field, because one of them is more electrically conductive than the other one, or has more ions or conductive charge. And that can be very stable, like an e-ink display can hold its color for a very long time. And not only can it hold its color for a very long time, it doesn't consume almost any power compared to anything else. It does take less fast, and it can't do as many colors easily. People have been working around that compared to other ones. It also I want to say is a lot more stable than dye, so it's less likely to lose its color. Another method that people have used is other versions of structural colors, and structural colors are when we don't use a specific dye or changes in dyes or chemicals, but it's actually we change the structure of material. And this can be done with a bunch of different ways, but structure of materials can actually lead to different colors. Here is an example just from Mother Nature, but there's a bunch of pictures of different types of structural colors. There's thousands of ways structures, nanoscale structures can lead to different colors. You can see it on CDs even or something, but these little tiny scratches or surface things, they can trap certain wavelengths of light because certain wavelengths of light are too small and they just bounce off the little ridges. These ones that bounce off the little ridges get stuck. Or other colors are other wavelengths of light are too big and it's almost like they don't feel the ridge, just bounce back. Some of them feel stuff in between and scatter back. Other ones are so small that the ridges don't have as much of an effect on them because they can just kind of pass through them. And you can get ones that are size selective by mixing up ridges of different sizes and different structures on top of each other. You can also get really, really dark colors. Even in fact, the darkest colors are all structural colors, and the darkest known color is Vanta black. And these are made by just having carbon nanotubes that are vertical, straight up and down. And carbon nanotubes by themselves are pretty dark, But this way, when any color hits them and is re-emitted or reflected, one is reflected into neighboring one that absorbs it, reflects it to a neighboring until all of it's absorbed the light. You can also do this with a lot of small spheres in a white matrix of the right sizes, not as well, where it reflects a lot of the light back and forth. However, where stalks of color contains with electricity is, you imagine you have a bunch of small mirrors or something. Oh yeah, also stalks of color can work with mirrors and lenses by changing the refractive index, and you can either change it so that the light actually bends right back at you, but only smaller wavelengths, so the more blue ones are seen, by compacting certain things. So it's only the small wavelengths react with it, and the bigger wavelengths cannot are too big to react with it. So the way that you can do it is you can have a bunch of these particles, whether vertical or not, in a matrix, and electric field can either stretch them out or not, like I showed in Piazza electric effect, by making them all attracted to each other or far apart. Or you can make them rotate, because one hand has positive or negative charge. You can rotate them in different things. Or electric field can all align them, and thermal energy can just mix them up. An actual example of this is LCD displays, or liquid crystal displays. And it has a bunch of little crystals in a liquid that are normally just random. And when they're random, they're black. But when you put a charge through them, they all line up. And then they only let certain types of light through when they all line up. Stalks of colors. The whole field of stalks of colors is super complicated, and there's many different ways of doing the same thing. But the technology exists, and people have been using it. What could all these color changing things do now, and how could it help people? Well, it could provide a source of heating and cooling for people. You could wear black if you detect that you're cold. It could change your shirts to be more black so you absorb more heat to cool down. Or it could give a visual signal of emotions if you wanted to, or displace words or stuff like that to help you communicate. It could also be an expression of yourself. It could also let you cool down by making the clothes more reflective from the sun, and a bunch of other things like that. It could act as a stimmy device where you could watch your own clothes change colors to calm down. All these little neat uses, and I'm sure I'm not looking at all of them. Well, thank you very much for listening. I hope you found this interesting. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And also, if you have any ideas for future videos or any comments, leave them in the comment section below. Goodbye. Thank you.